Okay, so the stream has started. And let's see who accepts the stream. Twitch has accepted the stream. YouTube has accepted the stream. And Facebook has accepted the stream. Okay. Can you think of any other pre-show preparation we have to do?
I didn't even know that had to be done.
Okay.
What about Instagram? What about TikTok?
TikTok does not allow you to do more than a certain amount of minutes.
Okay. I'm just suggesting things that...
Instagram will let you, but it won't let you use a desktop computer. Isn't that weird?
That's weird.
We have really tried. We did everything in our power to work around that, and we're unable to. Okay, so we have everything, I think. All right, I'm going to start the timer.
I love it. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Okay, don't fall in.
But you're still live, so you can talk to the people.
Well, hello, good evening. My name is Jason Dylick. I'll be reciting a couple poems, including a brand new one that was just composed earlier this week. So it is unheard, unvarnished, unreviewed, and, well, just ask me. I think everything I do is good. Of course, the truth is different strokes for different folks. You know, somebody will love it. Somebody will absolutely hate it. Somebody will be entranced by my voice. Somebody will say, oh, that guy is so grating. Well, that's the way it is. That's my genetic gift as far as that goes, because a gift and a curse look a lot alike. So phone calls are always welcome at 716-202-8430. That's 716-202-8430. I don't have anything written for you. This is all extemporaneous, so whatever comes to my mind as we wait. Because I'm a big believer in no matter where you go, there you are. So wherever I am is where I'm supposed to be. And if I'm just sitting here talking to myself, that's way cool. But I would much, much, much prefer to talk to somebody else. So here we are, just filling time. And let's see. I always getting used to my hair on the monitor that it's falling. I need a haircut this week. Je l'ai laissé là jusqu'à ce il est nécessaire. S'il y a quelqu'un qui peut parler en français, nous pouvons le faire.
Let's see here.
I gave out the phone number, and but nobody called.
Why you think? Okay, that's fine.
Hey, I tried. In the words of Macy Gray, I try.
Who's Macy Gray?
That was the song. Try to walk away and I stumble when you're here. I'm not soon when you're not here. But it was a hit song, but it wasn't a hit to me. I mean, it didn't appeal to me.
Okay, so let's tell people the premise of this show.
Well, that's what I alluded to, that I'd be doing two poems, including one that was new.
Okay.
This show will have poetry by somebody in the studio and others written by people that aren't with us this evening.
Right. Or song lyrics.
Or song lyrics.
If somebody has a song that they like, they can call it in and read the lyrics.
What if it's Oh Yeah by Yellow that only has 11 words in it?
Well, that would be interesting.
Or what about if it's a Batman theme that has 2 words in it, which is Nah and Batman?
We'll have to deal with it. Do you keep repeating them or just say them once?
They repeat it a little bit in Yellow's song. But Batman, it's na 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 Batman. So I don't know if it counts as na in Batman.
How much time went into the lyrics for that song?
That's a good question because either it was a lot or it was a little. I mean,
It's almost like the writers were arguing,
yeah,
and they said, "Look, let's just do like they
place-
did with Hey Jude." You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
yeah, just something that works. But you know, if you got the first person to do it, it works. Just like Spielberg, you know that his innovative use of the camera. The example that I've seen him do, and then people try to imitate, but they can't do it as well, was when the T-Rex was in Jurassic Park, when the T-Rex was in the rearview mirror on the side.
Yeah.
Objects in mirror are closer than they appear, but there's a T-Rex head there.
Right. Right.
That is epic Spielberg, you know?
Okay. So you think he thought that up, not the cinematographer?
I think it's all cinematography and directing go together, just like
They should. They definitely should.
I can't say enough good about Spielberg. I never met the guy. I don't know anything about him except what I've read online and in the papers.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as art goes, he will listen to everybody. He's not an autocrat, and he doesn't say my way or the highway and his way is wrong. And this is the guy who presented Schindler's List as his final project for film school.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't actually have to come to class. I keep thinking it was he didn't get into USC film school or UCLA, and I keep thinking Cal Poly SLO, but or was it? But regardless, it wasn't. Or was it Cal Long Beach? Maybe it was, but he went back and got his degree. But he just talked with the instructor, you know, and showed that he had an awareness of what was going on, because I never understood what this was, and then I was like, oh, and then for TV you had to do that. You know, and seeing what the scene looks like.
Well, I want to get a pillow for my back.
Okay.
You can talk to the people.
Okay. And
Tell them your life story.
my life used to be interesting, and then I became boring, and then I'm trying to be interesting again. But then again, everyone is the hero of their own story. And if you think about that, then the doom-scrolling people, their response is, no, I'm just a sidelight character in my own story. I'm not even the central character. But what is it, Yesterday's Hero, or I'm Nobody's Hero? And welcome back, Richard.
Yes, I'm much more comfortable now. Thank you for indulging me. So let's start with your poem called Depression.
Okay. Alrighty. What we have here is a poem called Depression, to which he has alluded. This was written recently, a couple weeks ago.
It's bleak. Like there's no cure.
Well, the medication helps, but it's the J-shaped curve that you're going down, 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 and you get a little bit better. And science likes, or they're intrigued by J-shaped curves. You know, that what causes that inflection point and that rise at the end. And so once you get over that little rise out of the valley and that little incline, and then you're, besides being strong enough to just kill yourself, you become just well enough that you don't want to kill yourself, and you improve. Because it's not the A lot of depression is you're not actively trying to kill yourself, but you don't care if you die. It really, it doesn't mean you don't wear a seatbelt or you walk into traffic without looking at the walk and don't walk signs. But if you take it as your luck that a piano is going to fall out of a window and crush you. Because you say that's about where I'm at. And so that's why people that have to tell you they're depressed, they're not. Because people that are depressed, they're lackluster. They'll say, oh, okay, if you say I'm depressed, I am. Because you can't think of anything. No matter how creative you were, no matter how dynamic you were, you are blunted. You are dulled. You're not a sharp point. You're rounded. You're lackluster. Your life becomes black and white or gray toned, and you don't care. You don't care. The stuff you like, you can't enjoy. The stuff you want to do, well, you don't want to do anything, so you don't miss it because you don't want to do it anyways.
So where are you on the J curve?
I'm God's honest truth. In my life, I've had about 10 seconds of suicidality. And I'm not kidding when I say 10 seconds. I remember when it was. It was about 5 years ago.
That's the bottom of the J.
Yeah. Yeah, because I wasn't on any meds to take me out of it. And so, because at the time, I actually still had the juice. So I was on the downward slope.
The juice. What does that mean?
The energy.
Energy.
Yeah, nothing illegal. That's
okay.
Yeah, that's just the imagery of the power, the juice, the energy.
The energy to
do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motivation.
Okay. The motivation juice. Just the motivation, and because truth be told, my ego is so huge, I couldn't think of the thought of wasting myself because I got too much to lose, even though it doesn't look like it right now. That's just what I think, It's the present is the day we have. It's the gift, and every day I have is a victory. So why would I waste that? Because I'll take it. If it's free, it's me, and every day is free.
Let's try an experiment.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Beethoven's Seventh Symphony?
Not the seventh.
Okay. So, I have a theory. And that is, if you read anything at all, absolutely anything, and underneath it you put Beethoven's Seventh Symphony, it will sound much more profound. So let's read your poem. You read your poem.
The Depression or the new one?
Depression.
Okay.
With Beethoven's Seventh Symphony underneath you. Okay?
Okay.
Now, when you do this, I don't think you've ever done it before, but you got to feel the music while you're reading. So you got to try to pace it to the music. You know what I mean?
Well, will I have a prelude to do it? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if we can get this going.
Give me a
here.
cue when you want me to start reading.
I will.
You don't listen to voicemails when you're depressed. You don't answer texts. You don't open mail. You don't wash clothes. You don't shower. You're dirty. You don't care. You can't get down. You can't get it up either. You don't care. You don't eat. The starvation diet is best. 10 days of none of the food you want. None of the days of the week makes the pounds fall off. Maybe the doc puts you on a miracle drug. You get better. You get better enough that you have just enough juice to kill yourself. Or not. And you continue. Depressed.
Nice. Well, what do you think of the idea of putting music and poetry together? Is it a good idea?
Well, it's like that's like the horse and rider. You know that So here's a little segue. Do you know, are you familiar with the modern pentathlon?
5 events?
Yes, but it's
In the Olympics, right?
right. But the original idea was what a Napoleonic soldier would have to do to get back from behind enemy lines. So that's why there was a run, a swim, a shooting event, a fencing event, and a horsemanship event. So just like all the things you'd have to do, ride the horse, swim, run, shoot, fence. And at the last Olympics, were they in Rome or was it Tokyo? Whatever. The whole key of the equestrian event was you didn't know your horse. You met them when you got on to do the equestrian event.
That was part of the
That's part
rules.
of the yeah. That's not a bug. That's a feature. And
What if they give you an obstinate horse?
that's what you get. And one of the trainers,
So it's up to luck.
a lot of
Who
it,
assigned you the horse, though?
it's supposed to be random, but
Oh, so you could like draw straws or
yeah,
something.
like out of a hat, yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the trainers was caught whipping the horse. I mean, if I was the horse, I would have kicked this person because they were just beyond animal cruelty.
Meaning they wanted the horse to be cantankerous?
No, they wanted the horse to
Be
respond.
submissive?
Yeah, and
Oh.
so that's why they were beating it like.
But if you didn't know the horse until it...
That was the trainer. That wasn't one of the competitors. As I said, that was the trainer, one of the caretakers for the horse.
So the trainer did not know who would be getting his horse.
Right.
But whoever got him, he wanted the horse to be submissive.
Or to just participate.
I see.
But the way they were treating the horse was beyond the pale. Anything you wouldn't want to be seen.
That would mean you also object to bullfighting because they torment the bull to make him meaner.
The more that I find out, yes, because there's something called the kidney strap in bullfighting. And what that is a clapper that hits it in the testicles. And having gone to a military college that was all male when I was there, a guy said to me, let me hit you in the balls continuously and see how much you jump around. And so, yeah, that I got to give the bulls. I think the bulls in the rodeo are better treated than the bulls in the bullfighting because they kill those bulls in the bullfighting.
Yeah.
And because a champion bull in the rodeo, even though he's not self-aware, he gets treated like a king. He retires, and I mean, he's in the lap of luxury, you know. And they want to put him out to stud, and he gets to screw everything he wants, eat all the good food, and like there was one of them that just died. Was it Little Yellow Jacket, or was it?
Is this a rodeo bull?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, or was it Whirlwind, or I mean, even the names, you know, or was it one of Little Yellow Jacket's sires? But just died, and they said he'd only had a full ride on him 8 seconds. 3 times in his career. That's a big deal. You know, you got to give your props to that bull. And yeah, so that's why because of that treatment of the horse and they took the equestrian event out. And what are they using with it now? I think because they don't use a real gun anymore either. Now it's laser. It's not even an air pistol or a .22. It's just the laser. So it's not really the art anymore. It's just the science, you know?
What did they do with the laser?
It's the laser gun. The laser is the one that registers the hit. And I don't know if it has a recoil.
To a bull?
No, to the target.
Oh. So you're off of bullfighting now.
Oh yeah, I'm back to the modern pentathlon.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, because the events there they don't look anything like what they originally did. Like in Antwerp, Belgium in 1912, George Patton finished 5th in the modern pentathlon.
Yeah.
And there was a story that he used his own service weapon instead of somebody else's, and they said he missed a target. No, it's more likely that his bullet went through the same hole that somebody else did.
Wow. That's like the story of Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Splitting the arrow.
Right. And
How could you? There's no way you could verify that.
well, that's just like though in 1952 in Sweden, there was a guy who finished. I think it was the 50-meter butterfly in 55. He touched at 55-1, and the guy next to him was 55-2, and the judges changed this guy at 1 to 2 and gave the win to this guy. This guy even gave that guy, shook his hand, said, "You beat me." So the Olympics have all sorts of crap like that.
I see.
You know, that changing it. And that's why the timing by Rolex or Omega and, you know, putting it on the beep, because better living through technology. Mm-hmm. But then you take all the art away from it. Mm-hmm. And so that's why music and poetry is like the horse and rider. You got to have the right horse and the right rider. You know, that's why.
Oh, that's why you brought up the thing about the pentathlon.
Yeah. And that's why not knowing your horse, you could get a dud, you know? And
right.
Because riding a horse isn't something, unless you're really lucky, you can't fake it. But a good horse will make a guy who's not a good rider look good. Mm. And they used to, something that I realized retrospectively that was somewhat cruel was the wild horse race at Frontier Days in Laramie. It was the last event on day 1, I think.
Were there riders or just horses running?
Well, that's the thing. They were wild horses that were picked up on the countryside, and all they have is somebody put a bridle on it.
Yeah.
That's it. You had to saddle it and ride it once around the circle to win, and there were teams of 4.
Oh.
And it didn't matter which way it went. Like if everybody went this way and you went that way.
Okay.
But depending on the horse you got, but of course they'd never been ridden.
And so they weren't too keen on somebody riding them.
No, but I saw this one white horse that had.
You attended one of these.
Yeah. I went to Frontier Days back. What was it? 2012. Because interestingly, Motley Crue played at those Frontier Days, and just a couple days before they played at Darien Lake. I'm from Buffalo, but I wasn't at Darien Lake. I was in Wyoming.
There's a band at these days.
You just like the bands at the fair.
Okay.
Frontier Days is just like the fair, but they're, instead of the equestrian events or the animal husbandry, it's all rodeo.
I see.
And because rodeo has every discipline from bull riding to the barrel racing to chuck wagon racing. I mean, you know, it's really, really something.
It's entertaining?
Oh, absolutely. Because when somebody can really, really do it, like the barrel racing is incredible. And
that's where you go in a figure 8?
Or there's 3 tires, where they loop around each.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because if you go to Town of Gary or Ellicottville, East Coast rodeos suck once you see the real thing in the West.
I see.
If you go to the West, that's like, wow, this is what real rodeo looks like.
I see. But
Here,
the one in Ellicottville is a pale comparison?
Absolutely. You know, that it's definitely minor leagues, you know, because there is the pro leagues. But one of the wild horses that had gotten away, because believe it or not, that happened.
What do you mean, they run out of the stadium?
They're already outside the stadium. I mean.
But how can you watch them? You got to be sitting in the stands at the stadium.
They're corralled in, and then they let them go, and it's just. And so the guys, I don't recall how if they were assigned to one. I think they were, but
it left a corral that they draw from for the horses.
Yeah, and that's where the wild horses were corralled in. Then they let them go, and I don't know if they were assigned one they had to ride or they just had to get one.
Yeah,
because there was this white horse that was just beautiful. I mean, this thing's wild, and it didn't look dirty. You know what I mean? It's white like this paper. It's white like this.
Yeah.
And it had the smoothest line I've ever seen. And this is a wild horse, but you could have put a cup of coffee on its back and it wouldn't have spilled. Is
that a sign of a muscular horse?
Very coordinated, muscular. Well, I mean, strong enough, but also very coordinated, very just well blessed by genetics.
Okay.
I mean, this horse was.
So you were rooting for that horse?
I root for the animal now for everything. I want to see the animal win. I want to see the bull during the bullfight gore the guy who's doing all his dancing and whatnot. I want to see him get a horn right in the groin and boost him up in the air. Ooh. You know, I want to see the bull throw the guy off because you got to be a fool to wear just your denim shirt and your cowboy hat when you're riding a bull. I mean, that's 1,500 pounds of something getting slapped in the balls to be angry. You know, and all you need is one hoof on your chest. That's why the guy wearing the chest protectors and the hockey helmets, there's a reason for that, you know? Because you get your head stepped on by a bull, you're lucky if it don't kill you.
I see. Now, I've been telling people about this show, and somebody left me an interesting voicemail, which I would like to play for you.
Okay.
You've never met this person. His name is Tony the truck driver.
Okay.
And he has this issue with rage. All right?
Okay.
And one of the things that he's raging about in this particular voicemail is being born in a world where he is different, but people want to make him the same as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
All right? You might be able to identify with that. Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if we can get it here.
When I got back home, and the answer is no one but myself.
Oh, that's a different one.
Yeah, that's our friend.
Yeah, that's our friend. I want to play that one too. That is an excellent voicemail. Okay, here's Tony the truck driver.
Minimize infection. Your pain level's going to go down. You're going to feel a lot better. I told him, but the thing is, though, if you have an abscessed tooth and you want to save that tooth at all, well, first of all, I said alcohol on it because the
I want to
alcohol
find you the spot.
will assist that I ended up losing back when I didn't have good insurance and I couldn't afford to get a crown. So,
this is not it.
Okay.
This is not it. Oh, I know why, because he keeps leaving them. Like he left me about 4 of them today.
Huh.
So which one is it? Because I wrote to him. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so it's before that one. It would be this one. Okay, here it is.
And when I wanted to hit send to Pam, it was not actually sent by intention. Sometimes my...
And that is his commentary. Okay, it must be this one then.
AIDS, the uber sensitive tech analysis, the communications liaisons, and of course, the super genius that can relate to everybody but doesn't. It's all bullshit. Fucking bullshit. This fucking series even managed to vilify Leonard Peltier at one point. Fucking traitors.
So he's talking about watching the TV show Criminal Minds and being outraged by things that they consider by the writers of the show is what he's outraged by, So now from that, he's going to talk about life in general.
Weeks. The system really is set up to fail us. The bullies win because the system makes them available to winning. And it's no surprise, and this is nothing new to me, that society, this Western world and its society, it's a very beautiful society and does not tolerate anything that is different in any fucking form. Anything that is ugly, discolored, dented, beaten, scraped, scarred, raw, cut, bruised, smashed, abused, degraded, anything that is not perfectly 100% Barbie and Ken beautiful. That's what I fucking learned. You want to know why I'm here? You want to know why I'm in exactly the position I'm in? 2 reasons. 1, because I was brought into this fucking world with some screwed up wiring upstairs that nobody either could or wanted to comprehend, because that would make them think, that would make them question their fucking right-wing Nazi fucking beliefs and make their head hurts. And two, because it's a beautiful society. Doesn't tolerate anything that's not them. And God forbid anything that wasn't perfect should get a foothold, because that might mean there's a kind of equality. All a question of power and looks and beliefs. Not anymore. Not any fucking more. Helter Skelter is gonna go down now. Helter Skelter is now.
So, what's your reaction to Tony?
Unhinged.
And do you feel any compassion for him?
That's not my first thought.
What's your answer to the question?
Well, I understand his point, but I don't know if it's as desolate as he makes it out to be, because looks are only one feature, and but beauty is only skin deep, but ugly is to the bone. Beauty will fade away, but ugly will hold its own. I heard that like 40 years ago, and that's true. I mean, out last week, there was a woman. I don't even know how old she was. I mean, 75, and she was still hot. I mean, whatever she's doing.
Where was this woman?
At Greg's party.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she looked good, and I was like, dude, because sometimes some people still got it. Like Lee Merriweather, she's nearly 90 years old, and she still looks good. She still looks good, you know, and that's why some people still have it, you know, and a guy told me it's inequitable towards women, but women, or he said, they get older, meaning women, we get better. I don't know how true that is, but it's inequitable that I could be bald and not wearing a shirt and I can go out in public. You know what I mean? But a woman has to put powder on, lipstick on, do up her hair. Hey, put it in a ponytail. I don't care. Let it go free. I don't care. You know, cut it short. I don't care. That's equitable, man. You know? Because, well, there's that diagram. I got to look it up again, because there's equity, equality, and I forgot what the third one is. But one is the guy tall enough to see over the branch. Another one is on a box or over the fence. Another guy is able to on the box, able to look over it. The other guy is shorter, but his box is the same height, and he can't get up above it. And one is equality, equity, and I forgot what the third one is, but it has to do with what we do for people. And so, the question I wonder about is, would I rather lose my mind or lose my body? I would definitely rather lose my mind, because I would be, if I lost my body and I was only my mind, I would feel ineffectual. I'd be like a car with a Hemi engine and a blown transmission. You know, sure, I can rev up to 8,000 RPMs, but where does it go? It doesn't go anywhere. That would be me. And if you, I'm going to tell you right now, and everybody who's watching me at home, if I ever get locked in, kill me. That's my standing order.
What does that mean, locked in?
The locked-in syndrome is basilar artery occlusion. The diving bell and the butterfly was about a guy who was locked in. The people that are locked in, they can still move their eyes around and they can still blink, but they can't do anything else. So they're still here, but this is all gone.
I see.
And if I ever get locked in, kill me, because I don't want. That's not living for me.
Well, shouldn't you wait until it happens and communicate that by blinking?
I'm saying it ahead of time so that you don't have to go through the rigorous, and it could be misconstrued what you say, you know, because if you don't know Morse code or international code, how can you blink it out, you know?
Yeah.
Or the laborious, it's laborious doing one letter at a time, like, you know, and you can't hook stuff on here like with a lever, to hit the letters.
Well, I asked because there's so many movies about somebody wants to die, they hire a hitman to kill them, then they change their mind.
Do you know what the real world of hitmen is like? It's not a lot of money, and it's very simple. And people that are living at home, own a home, have a job, they don't hire hitmen. You know what I mean? That it's folks that don't have a telephone number, don't have a social security card. There's a reason why, Do you know what the two dude syndrome is?
No.
In the city, I was standing on the street corner, minding my own business. These two dudes came up and kicked my ass for no reason, motiveless. And also, the most dangerous places to be is either walking to or from the church or the prayer meeting, or sitting on the porch reading the Bible with Grandma. Because I was sitting on the porch reading my Bible with Grandma when, for no reason, this guy came up and kicked my ass.
This doesn't sound real.
Well, you have to know what minding your own business is.
What is minding your own business?
Usually selling drugs.
Oh,
I was standing on the street corner minding my own business, and these two guys came up and kicked my ass.
I see.
And also, it takes two people to kick your ass. One person can shoot you, but nobody will ever admit that it was one-on-one violence and you lost. And so, but I have a true story. My division chief, when I was in residency, she told a story about, she's done a lot of medical missionary work, and she was in Papua New Guinea at this emergency department that was in the middle of the jungle. And this dude walks in with an arrow sticking out of his back, and he said, I was walking home from the prayer meeting, and somebody shot me with an arrow for no reason.
And you think that was a fake story?
Well, those two dudes are international criminals, and that those two dudes are a nationwide menace, and their one accomplice is that bitch.
Their accomplice?
Their accomplice is that bitch. That's who slashes you or steals your money or
I see.
yeah. So those two dudes and that bitch are every city has them. Every country has them.
Yeah.
Every place in the world has them.
I see.
Yeah, so those two dudes. It's the two dude syndrome, and it's sock mob. Standing on the street corner, minding my own business. Sock mob. Minding my own business. I was standing on the street corner, minding my own business. Back when I worked on the ambulance, so 30 years ago, one of the guys, he's a nurse now, but he told me the story about man down, because you get a call from 911. With no other information, they make it a paramedic call because they don't know. That if somebody calls and says, I cut my finger, that's a BLS, a basic response. But if they say a cardiac arrest or possible, like the man down, he said in the sunlight, he's sleeping. But if it's in the rain and there's a man down, that's a code. It's either cardiac arrest or he's a trauma arrest. He's been shot. And I heard a story about it was raining so much, the blood was being washed into the sewer. But you could see it, the rain washing the blood into the sewer.
Okay.
And so these are the stories, the untold stories. I'm not. What's the guy with the Tales of the City of San Francisco? These are the Tales of the City of Buffalo. Like I remember back in 1985 when they had Cleveland Vice on Saturday Night Live, which was, remember when they used to do the stereo, little indicator? This was mono. It said in mono, and it only had the one earphone. It only had the one because it wasn't in stereo.
That was part of the joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was Cleveland Vice. Cleveland isn't as cosmopolitan or flashy as Miami.
I see.
So
it was a take on Miami Vice,
Yeah.
but done in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, which is less, much less than, it's very Joe Public. Like Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland are the same city in 3 different areas.
I see.
I recall in Cleveland, I was there, 12 years ago for a conference or training. And I made a turn, because this was before I had my GPS, but it told me to make a turn. It was a bridge that was just closed. It wasn't closed for repair. It was just closed. They were never going to repair it. They just put up a closed sign and let it go to...
And they did not justify why they closed it.
Nope. It was just, this bridge is closed, period. There's no sign saying rebuilding going on, whatever, this will be renewed or whatever. Nope. Just forget about it, go the other way. And so that was, Tip O'Neill said all politics is local. And really that's what it gets down to. And so back when I was in paramedic school, there was one of the instructors said, make a list of the 10 things that bug you the most. Number them from 1 to 10. And then number them from 1 to 10, how much they affect your life. So if sectarian violence in Turkey or civil war in Cyprus is the thing that bothers you the most,
Yeah.
but you're not a Cypriot or you're not a Turk, that goes way down on the list. If it's, I can't pay my electric bill, that's a good reason, to be number one, because that directly
so the
affects you.
teacher's trying to instruct you that there's things that bother you that shouldn't?
Yeah, that to reprioritize.
Oh.
You
It
know,
sounds like a course in mental health.
well, that was part of it. That was, but they didn't call it as such then, because that was back when they thought CISD, critical incident stress debriefing, was the thing to do after a critical incident, which is a bad trauma call, with multiple victims or somebody who's mangled, the stuff that
It takes a toll on your mental health
Absolutely.
as the responder.
Yes, and the CISD was about reliving it and trying to talk it out and discussing it that way. That it turns out that's not the best thing to do.
What is the best thing to do?
I don't know, but it's not that. All I know is the CISD has been cast out mainly. It's not completely done, but it's been relegated to a side show. That it's not on the main stage. We have 20 minutes left.
Yeah, let's go to the next poem.
Okay, so this one was.
To imply that the author requires another person to validate them.
It's about loneliness and the idea that water is life, which is a recurring image.
Yeah.
There is no water. Everything is dry. Everything is dry and lifeless, and that's part of the imagery. But the loneliness.
But by the way, what is vide?
Vide is French for empty.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's I just threw that in there because it worked.
Okay.
And
So is the theme of this that loneliness is separate from being alone?
if being alone is a temporary situation or it's intended for a period of time, but loneliness doesn't have an expiration date because it can be ended at any time, unbeknownst to you.
And what ends it?
Being with other people, or depending on what it is, if it's agape or if it's eros, for whatever kind of connection you need.
But aren't there people who are lonely who live in New York City?
Yeah, and that's kind of the irony, because they're jammed in like sardines, yet they're still lonely. Because,
Right.
you know, you can have. I always said, New York is like I lived in Brooklyn and I lived in Queens, so I definitely like Brooklyn better because I was in Dyker Heights, which is a subset of Borough Park, and in fact the street, I was between 10th and 11th, and that area, 54th Street between 10th and 11th, got the name of a guy who was killed on September 11th, 2001. He was a firefighter, but I don't even know if he lived on that street. But this piece of street where I lived, between 10th and 11th, it was named after this guy. So it's like 9th to 10th is 54th Street, 10th to 11th is this guy's name, then 11th to 12th is 54th Street. But
What made that street special?
I don't know. I don't know. But everybody in New York, if you lived in New York or New Jersey, you either were related to or knew somebody who got killed or avoided death on September 11th. I have a colleague from med school who, when she was looking at TV, she sees a guy and she said, "I dated him when we both went to Seton Hall." She knew the one guy, the picture, and he'd gone to Seton Hall with her, and then he became a firefighter. And
Okay.
so that, you know, you can be hot and dry, or you can be cold and dry, but having a dry throat, dry skin, a dry outlook, if you get dry skin on your ears, your lips crack, you get a bloody nose, your skin gets scaly because it's dry. Mm-hmm. It's always it itches. Or first it tickles, then it itches, then it hurts. Dry hurts, and we want. I will, if we have any viewers, use the word that women hate: moist. Mm-hmm. Moisture is always good. Not too much. I mean, too much of anything. Mm-hmm. Too hot is too much. Too much water is too much. Mm-hmm. Too much oxygen is too much. But poco ma non troppo, a little but not too much.
What language is that?
That's Italian. That's from. It's a musical term, but I forgot for what. But poco ma non troppo. Mm-hmm. So, because you know, people that say, "Well, I like 80, but I don't like 85," but it can't get below 60 because I don't like it. Well, that's a pretty narrow window, you know. Mm-hmm. But I always say the hotter the better. But I put up or shut up. I really stand by that. Back at Wingfest,
So you could live in Phoenix, for example.
Oh, absolutely. But the true story is they say it's not the heat, it's the humidity. That's BS. It's the heat. But what they do...
I've heard it gets so hot there that you can walk on the pavement and the bottom of your sneakers will start to melt.
That's pronounced, you know, but that's the thing. They spend all their time in AC. But that's like the average American thing. You're in AC at home. You get in your car in the AC. You go to work in the AC. Mm-hmm. You get in your car to go home. You're in the AC. You're at home. You're in the AC. Mm-hmm. So you're never out in the weather. Mm. Because do you know why room temperature is 72 or 68?
Got something to do with our body temperature, doesn't it?
Yeah, and because we wear clothes. If we were walking around butt naked, we'd have to have room temperature at up toward 98, or else we'd get cold.
I see.
And if you were even in 80-degree water, you will become hypothermic in about 16 hours.
You mean 80-degree water is it's so removed from your body temperature that you'll get cold?
You'll eventually, yeah, in about 16 hours, you'll become clinically hypothermic. So even if it feels warm to the touch, well, that's not a good gauge. Just like, oh, do you feel febrile? That's not a good gauge. And that's why I will always venture towards moisture and water. And don't even ask me if water is wet, because physics has proven that water is wet. Because the song Particle Man by They Might Be Giants, does he get wet or does the water get him instead? Particle Man. Nobody knows Particle Man. But that's just it. That like, does soap get dirty or do people get clean? Well, it's kind of a little bit column A and column B because the soap comes off and it bubbles, it suds, and it carries the dirt with it. So that's why it's one of those things that you don't think about. But water is affirmatively wet. But it's like, do you know why the sky is blue?
Water vapor.
No, nitrogen and oxygen. And
So why isn't it blue at night?
because there's not enough sun to go through it.
Okay.
And the amount of light off of a full moon, it's enough to read a dollar bill if the sky is clear, but it's not enough to continue your actions during the day, because that was something that Arthur C. Clarke wrote about in the 2001 books. In 2010 and 2061 Odyssey 3, 2010 Odyssey 2 and 2061 Odyssey 3, about Jupiter has become a sun, because the theory is that Jupiter is a failed star. The planet Jupiter is a star that didn't get fired up. It didn't get its. It was even though it's huge, it's 865 times larger than Earth. It's not big enough to be a star. But in the books, it becomes a star, but they call it the cold star, because it's or the cold sun, because it's not enough to warm you, but it's enough to light your day. And he calls it the bane of lovers and criminals alike.
Why does he say that?
Well, because it's daylight all the time, so lovers and criminals can't do what they do.
Oh, I see. So I sent your poem on loneliness to our friend. And he wrote back the following. Would you read it to the people?
Nay, you say in English, oh, okay, that's a no. Say yay or nay.
So you say it's a matter of interpretation.
Well, we apply everything to our own limits.
Limits?
Limits.
Limits.
That the historians say if you don't know where you've been, you'll never know where you're going. Well, plus and minus. You can have relative position, not absolute position. The comparison I give there is if the nuclear sub, the boomer, carrying the missiles, because they say on a patrol, no boomer has ever been detected by a foreign nation. And even the admiral in charge of the rear admiral in charge of the group doesn't know exactly where the boat is. The skipper does. That's on board the boat, but nobody else does. But they can calculate relative position. Where 12 nautical miles from where we were before. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't know where you've been, you'll never know where you're going. Well, it's not completely true, but as I think of it, it's kind of like the apocryphal phrase applied to Michelangelo about was it the Pietà? It was always there, but I just removed the unnecessary parts. He really didn't say that, but it sounds really good. But that's just it. It was always there. I just removed the unnecessary parts. Well, I guess I could remove the unnecessary parts, but mine wouldn't look like yours.
I want to also show you something that a friend of mine sent to me. Get your thoughts on it, okay?
Okay.
Let's make it big. This is an interesting meditation on aging. My friend is living in, she's not from there. She's living in England.
Oh,
Okay.
Angleterre. I look like such a bum. I need a barrette to hold my hair back.
Okay. I'm happy staying home this weekend while Lucas and Kate go camping with her parents. Oh wait, no, I want to read this other thing she wrote. This is different. Okay. Oh, here it is. All right. It starts out with each of us is trapped in our body, which almost sounds like something that you were referencing tonight. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Although one person's trapped, is another one blissfully happy.
Okay, so. Okay, you can read this to the people. Let me go up. I'll put it on the big.
Enjoyment over life versus doing absolutely everything. If you spend all your time doing absolutely everything of something, you won't do a whole bunch of other stuff. Like if you did everything here in the home of the future, you're missing other stuff. If that's all you do, everybody comes to you here and you engineer and you're going to miss some stuff. You don't have to do everything. There is an old saw, emergency physicians, one of the guys a financial guy that's an ER doc that wrote about it said, as an ER doc, you can have anything you want. You just can't have everything you want. Or
Why were they telling you that?
well, because people had notions of, Like one guy asked, "If as an ER doc, can I buy a Lamborghini?" And he said, "Sure, if you want to live in it." And that's
Oh, so it was to answer the question of how wealthy will I be?
yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. Because if you're a dermatologist or you're a spine surgeon, that you make incredible amounts of money. Cardiology, you make incredible amounts of money. But derm, there's the worst derm emergency is something called
What does DERM stand for?
dermatology.
Okay.
Is Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which is exfoliative dermatitis, which is an acute thing, and they don't come in for that. That goes to the ICU. It's like a burn. It's functionally, even though you're not burned, it's like a burn because your skin is sloughing off and it can kill you. So the worst dermatologic emergency, they don't have to come in for. But back in New York, they instituted the 8-hour work week about 30 years ago. And you could get a 10% increase if your workload and your residency requires it. And neurosurgery asked for it, and they got it. So that their week would be, they could work 8 hours a week. But there's an old saying that came from Duke from Dave Savastin Sr., who's been dead now about 60 years. Q2 call or being on call every other night means you miss half of all the good cases. So that, do you know why they were called residents? Because they lived at the hospital. They were resident at the hospital. But it's like the original firefighters, the city fire department of the city of New York around 1850, they would work 30.5 days a month, meaning like got there August 1st, they would work till August 31st noon, then they would get 12 hours off. That's what they got off for the month was 12 hours. Neurosurge said that, and also the joke to a neurosurgeon is neurosurge tells his wife he's with his girlfriend, tells his girlfriend he's with his wife, and then he says, "This is good, now I can finally get some work done."
While he's with his wife?
No, he tells each one that he's with the other one.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's like the joke in the Soviet Union. There was a similar joke. Marx, what was it? Karl Marx, Frederick Engels, and Vladimir Lenin were having a discussion, and and the topic of the discussion was: is it better to have a wife or a mistress? Now you wouldn't understand this joke, but maybe you would, because you're not from Russia. But Marx said, it's better to have a wife than a mistress because you can experience her love all the time. And Engels said it's better to have a mistress than it is to have a wife because you're not obligated to always be with somebody. Mistresses whenever you're available. And Lenin said it's better to have both because you can tell your mistress that you have to spend the time with your wife. You have to tell your wife you have to spend your time with your mistress. And they looked at Lenin and said, well, what do you do? And Lenin said, you go to the library and you learn.
And people that were watching missed the end of that joke. Is that legit the end, or are we still on with
When I hit
them?
the button, it's the end. You
Oh,
ready?
groovy. Yeah, so they got the story. Yeah.
Does that joke make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna fade us to black, okay?
Okay. Thanks for viewing, everybody.